Hi, I'm Ro from Cybersleuth, and today we're going to be going over the top two major parental control apps out on the market today. One being Aura and two being Bark. We're going to go over some of the key features where these competitors are alike and different, and ultimately help you make the best choice by telling you which one we find to be the best. And if you want to try out these apps for yourself, just check out the description below. You'll find some discount codes where you can get some savings and support the channel at the same time, which I always greatly appreciate. First, I'll start off with the most important distinction between Aura and Bark, which is its monitoring philosophy. Now, you might ask, well, why is that so important? Well, the philosophy drives how it flags content, how it filters content, and how it communicates that with your kids. In terms of monitoring philosophy itself, Aura looks at everything and collects the data and reports it back to you, while Bark only flags potentially harmful content and reports that back to you. This might seem like a slight distinction between both apps, but it is huge because it does drive how the app functions behind the scenes. And what's important with that is we want to make sure that the parental control app does fit our parenting style. And it's crucial for how it communicates with the parent and the child. Aura will communicate next to nothing with the child. Everything is communicated to the parent sees everything, while the child kind of is left in the dark. On Bark's side, as it filters content or blocks content, it will communicate to the child what's happening and why. Next, we'll discuss some compatibility issues, which when it comes to Aura, you have to remember it was created to be used on a mobile device, but with its safe gaming feature, you can monitor over 200 games on the PC system. Now, with Bark on the flip side, it can monitor pretty much anything set up to the Wi-Fi. So that includes smart TVs, gaming consoles, and mobile devices. Let's move on to the setup process. This is where Aura comes out as the top dog. It only takes about 5 to 10 minutes to get you up and running, which is very simple and saves your time. Now, with Bark, the setup process is a little more complex, especially if you are an Android user. You can't just download it from the Google Play Store. You do have to go to Bark's website directly and get it from there. To Bark's credit, it does offer plenty of scaffolding by explaining and making sure that you have the information so it can put your mind at ease. There are extra extensions you can download and put on Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge. Does that take away from the tediousness? Not really. It only adds, as even the tech savviest of people can get frustrated by this process. You do have to set up each of the apps on your child's mobile device separately using your child's credentials, or you could include your child in this process and have them activate each app and use their credentials, which, to Bark's credit, could make it an inclusive process for you and your child during the setup process. Bark only monitors Firefox, Chrome, Safari, and Android default browsers, so if your child is using other types of browsers, this could circumvent its safety features. Onto one of my most important features, which is the screen time limit. And with Bark and Aura, they both have a unique feature where you can pause the entire internet, which on either app looks to be almost identical. For Bark, this is essentially where the similarities end. It can monitor and it can let you pause the internet, but outside of that, you really don't have a robust screen time setting feature where you can differentiate days or weekends or anything like that, outside of maybe putting limits on certain apps during the school day and perhaps during bedtime. With Aura, this is much more robust and powerful, where you can go through the screen time limit feature and tailor it really uniquely to your kids' needs. You can even award bonus screen time limits as you wish. Next on our lineup is the web filtering feature, which I do have to say are vastly different on Aura and Bark, where, for example, Aura is much more intense when it comes to its web filtering. In all, there's about 28 different categories that you can specifically tailor for the web filtering feature. Now, on the flip side, Bark doesn't allow you to block any of the content. It only alerts or flags the content and notifies you when your child triggers any of its 17 categories to be flagged, from sexual content to profanity or anything inappropriate. Now, let's discuss another important feature, which is the app monitoring function, where we can say that it stays in the same lanes as the web filtering category, where you have Aura blocking or allowing certain features to stay, and Bark monitoring and alerting you to certain harmful apps. Now, this might lead you to believe that Aura comes out on top with this category, but that's not the case, especially during my testing with Spotify. I did change the settings to try to block explicit content or mature content songs from being played, but I found that during the testing, I was still able to access explicit song lyrics without the app really not noticing at all. Whereas Bark, on the flip side, was able to flag and alert me to explicit or mature content, but also references to weapons and depression. Next up is location monitoring, and this one's pretty cut and dry. Bark has it or it doesn't. So if you want location monitoring, Bark is the one that clearly wins this category. With Bark, you can request your child's location, or they can send you their location, and rather than texting it, you can confirm it with GPS and map locations that Bark provides. The other cool feature is that if your child is driving or being the passenger, Bark does offer a driving report where you can see the car's top speeds and when your child is accessing their phone, which I find to be pretty neat. For this next section, we'll compare Bark and Aura and how they monitor certain communication apps. This does include texting, emailing, and online social media messaging as well. One thing out of the gate is Bark does monitor text messages while Aura doesn't. On the flip side, with email, Aura does allow you to block certain emails like Gmail, but it can't really monitor the email contents. Now, on the flip side, Bark does do email monitoring in theory. During our testing, we found that it only flagged one email, and it was concerning a potential data breach. For social media monitoring, we are on the same level where Aura will allow or block it, but not let you monitor the contents within, whereas Bark does monitor and flags certain content within social media aspects. Now, an important thing, let's talk about customer service. If you hit a roadblock during the setup process or you need any support, Aura is the clear winner. Aura's customer service is available 24 hours, and you can talk to a real person, as I've confirmed. With Bark, on the flip side, customer service is existent, but it is limited. It's not 24/7 like Aura. Hours are between 8 a.m. and 12 a.m. If you need anything after that, you can submit a ticket via email, which they'll eventually get back to you. The only category I say that it makes up for is its massive database, where you can access its how-to videos or read some articles to help you through certain troubleshooting aspects. Last but not least, pricing. And I have to say, the apps are pretty similar in price, but Aura does come in a little less expensive, especially with paying for a year subscription, and it does come with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Now, with Bark, there is an option to monitor all the devices on the home's Wi-Fi, but you do have to pay slightly more with that, although it does come with a 1-week free trial, which Aura does not come with that option, unless you get the family suite, where it does offer identity theft protection and more. So now that we've looked at all the categories, I have to say we have two solid choices on our hands. When it comes to an open parenting and communicative style of parenting, Bark is going to be a solid choice. It will alert, and then you can have later conversations with your child. But if you want something more comprehensive for your family, that comes with identity theft and data broker removal services, then obviously Aura is where you're going to want to go, as it protects your family in a more encompassing way. Aura's family suite does let you protect your entire family from one simple dashboard. Whether you choose Bark or Aura, check out the description below for some discount codes, and we'll see you on the next one.